Hello, everyone. Welcome to the class. My name is ToluFolorunso, and you can reach me on Slack with ToluFolorunso. That is my display name. And today we are going to start the journey to JavaScript land. And I hope you pay attention. I hope you try to get everything we are going to do today. Have you ever watched a movie that you saw someone, a guy in a dark room with 3, 4, 5, 6 computers, monitors, and you are seeing 1, 0, 1 and 0, 1 and 0? How do you feel? Don't worry. The journey has started. Today we are going to cover all these topics. What is JavaScript? And the tools that we need to start writing JavaScript. The separation of consigns, how to declare a variable, how to create a variable, how to assign value to a variable. You are going to get that today. Data types, we talk about the control flow and function, then question. Now, what is JavaScript? To me, JavaScript is a simple and easy to learn programming language. And in the front end, JavaScript is used to program the behaviors of web pages. Here I said JavaScript is used with HTML and CSS to create dynamic and interactive web pages and mobile application. What do you think you can do with JavaScript? What can you do with JavaScript? You can add interactivities behaviors to web pages. You can create web applications. You can create mobile application like Android application using React Native. You can build game with JavaScript. Like this one now. This one of the sorry. All of the game I built, though I'm not a game developer, but this game is one of my projects with Udacity front-end nano degree 2 years ago using JavaScript. And if you look at this game, it's built on JavaScript. I saw this online and I love playing this game. Can you? Using what? JavaScript. I love it. I love JavaScript. What about you? What about you? So we can use JavaScript to build game. We can use JavaScript to build a web server using Node.js framework. So JavaScript version we have, though this is not an issue class, so I will try to jump over. Yeah, the Superman with the JavaScript, you can acquire the superpower that you really deserve, that you really need. You can do it. JavaScript is very easy to learn. You can do it. You can acquire the power you need. You can do this. Just touch your heart and say, all is well. All is well. You can do it. So with JavaScript, you have so many things that you can build. You can build cool stuff. So please, let your learning be 30% and typing, doing something with your text editor with 70%. That means 30% of input, 70% of output. Input 30%, output 30%. And these are the tools we need to begin writing JavaScript using Chrome and the and the VS Code. So now to get a Chrome, just go to this site, get a Chrome browser. Then you click on download. I have it already. And the VS Code, you can VS Code. You can download the VS Code from this website by clicking the download, then install the VS Code from that place. Okay, ma. So now let's start coding. I will create a folder here, and I will give it JavaScript intro. JavaScript intro. And I will open this folder with my VS Code. I will create a file, an HTML file inside the folder. Oh, my system is slow. Why now? So I will call it index.html. Why now? I'm sorry, my system is. So I will. So H1 JavaScript. So now I have my HTML here. So to start writing JavaScript, I will have a script tag like this. So with this script tag, I can start writing JavaScript. So I can just say alert. Hello world. So I will open it with live server. Alert. Hello world. Congratulations, you are now a JavaScript developer. Congrats. So I can start writing so many things inside this file. I can start, okay, let me use console.log. Welcome to Zuri. So you have it already. So if I check my console log, so can you see now we have welcome to Zuri. About the project, about our task, the fourth task is this. This is what I'm expecting from everybody. When here I said, please enter operator you want to perform. So if I enter plus now, that means I want to do an addition. I press OK. It's asking me to enter number 1. So I can say, okay, 4. Okay, 4 plus. So the second number, maybe 4 plus 4 now. So I get 8. The result is 8. This is what I'm expecting from you guys. So don't create any button, don't create any form, anything. Just a simple one like good. And now here, separation of concern, separating our JavaScript from the HTML file. Here we are writing our JavaScript inside the HTML file. What if we are building a very big, a complex application, and we are putting all our JavaScript inside this index.html? About you won't like it because you won't be able to maintain your file. Immediately the file is getting bigger and bigger and bigger. We have issues. So the best thing is to separate your JavaScript from your HTML. And to do that, I will have to create a script tag. So I will have inside that script tag, I will have this attribute of source. So I will let me create a JavaScript file now. So I will call my JavaScript file in the live.js because JavaScript is live. So I will name it JavaScript live.js. So here now I will point to that part, live.js. So I will remove this. So that means we have separated our JavaScript file from the index file to its own file. So we don't need to have the JavaScript code inside the index file. So this will make our life easier. So I can now start writing my code inside my JavaScript file, which I named live.js. So I will say, okay, hello, what? So now if I go back, we are still getting it. Hello, what? Live is great. So now for variables, what is variables? Variables, we can store a value and give it a name so that we can recall it later, we can use it later, or change it later on. Here I said variable as container for storing data. That means storing data values like all this. To the next slide, we see this container, this bus. Then we have the name of that bus. We give it a name. This bus is A, we give it A as a name, and the value that we want to store inside the bus. And the value is a number. This number, we want to put this number inside this bus. So anytime we need the value, we go to that bus again and take our value out. If you look at this place now, to declare a variable, you have this let keyword, then the identifier, the pointer to the value in the memory. So this is the name of the variable. This is the name of the variable. So this username is pointing to the value of Joe in the computer memory. So now let's start doing something. I will minimize my text editor here. And I will put this side by side. I will put this side by side. Please. I want to attach this. Okay, good. Now I want to put them side by side. So to create a variable now, we have this let keyword. So here now I'm telling the JavaScript engine, that V8 engine, I would like you to go out there now, check out what is V8 engine, the Chrome V8 engine. Because this is not the theory or the issue class, we are here to code. So here now we have let. We are telling the engine that, the V8 engine, that we want to create a variable. Then we give it a name. So I will give it the name, the re-goat. And we all know that the re-goat is Ronaldo. This is the re-goat. So I'm saying, okay, create a variable for me, and the name of that variable should be the re-goat. Then the value to that variable. If you go back to our this thing, the name, the identifier, the equal to is the assignment operator. That means when you have this equal to, we are assigning whatever value at the right hand to the variable to the bus. So you are putting this Ronaldo inside the bus. So later in our program, you can now get the variable by using the name, this pointer, because this name is pointing to the value in the computer memory. So now let's create another one. Let's best musician in Nigeria to be equal, I don't know. I think it's Davido. Please don't crucify me for this. So the best musician in Nigeria is Davido, and the real goat is Ronaldo. So I can now, let's log this out and see what you get. So now maybe I need the value of this Ronaldo. So I can just console.log, the real goat. So if I save now, can you see now? You get Ronaldo. Console.log best musician in Nigeria. And if you save this file, you get Davido. So here I said introducing let and const for variable declaration. That means if you want to declare a variable, you want to create a variable, you use let and const. But the old ways of doing that is by using var. So we can create a variable by using var, like this. Name equal. So I'm using var to create. So I can also use const to create a variable now. So I will put password. Mind you, this is not my real password though. So now if I save, I'm getting, okay, we are not console.log. So you can create a variable by using var, const, and the different that means you can reassign, you can change the value later in your program. Why const? That means when you declare a variable using const, that means you cannot change it again. So I can't come here now and say, okay, password should be something else. It won't work. So if I save, I'm getting assignment to constant variable. That means I can't do something like this, where I can redeclare, or I can reassign this variable, this one and this one. But with a const, you can't do that. The JavaScript engine, the JavaScript will scream at you that no, you cannot do that. So these are the rules to follow. So you cannot use JavaScript reserved word to create like this. So you cannot use. So in JavaScript, you cannot use this reserved word as variables, labels, or function names. So when you have all this JavaScript reserved word, you can't use it for your variable names, for your function names. But mind you, you don't need to memorize them. This VS Code will help you if you are about to use one. For example, if I said let, and I want to give my variable if equal, the JavaScript will scream at this text editor will scream at him that something is wrong with my encode. So don't try to memorize all this thing. You don't need to memorize it. The VS Code will help you out. The second one is let your variable name be descriptive. Like this one, the real goat. It makes sense to use something like this. Unlike this one, let me go back to this one, like using X. It has no meaning. Y, it has no meaning. Z, it has no meaning. So let your variable should be meaningful, should be descriptive. like password, username, like this one, username, things like that. And you cannot start your variables name with a number. So I can't come in and say, okay, one part. No, it won't work. Take note of that. And your variable cannot contain a space on hyphen. Like, let me remove this, like putting hyphen here or putting space. You can't have a variable like this because that is okay. You want to subtract something from something. No. So JavaScript will scream at you that you cannot do that. So you can't have a space or a dash. And your name and in JavaScript is a case sensitive. So password and this one are not the same thing. This and this are not equal because this capital letter. And also, thing you should take notice, the first word in your variable name should start with a lowercase, and the second word should start with capital letter. The following one should start with capital letter, capital letter, capital letter. So it will make your life very easier. So now let's proceed. JavaScript data type. And we have the primitive and the object. But today, we are not going to talk about this object. We have to cover this today. So about the primitive data type, we have numbers, we have string, we have Boolean, we have undefined, and null. So now, number. So let's try to work with numbers. So numbers is just very simple things. So 6 is a number. And in JavaScript, we only have numbers data type, unlike other programming language like Python, Java they have something like ints. In Python, they have ints, they have floats, things like that, double. But in JavaScript, we only have number. So JavaScript has one number type, and 6 plus 6 is, oh, sorry. So 6, we have 7 minus 9 points. They are all number, 0 number. These are the numbers we have, and we can perform basic math operation on them. So I can say 7 plus 7. So it will give me 17. 7, 9 minus 2 will give me 1. With 9 times 5, it will give me 45. We also have we have done addition, subtraction, multiplication, then division. 6 divided by 2 will give us 30. And we also have this. Okay, let me show you. I think I have it here. Okay, I don't have it here, sorry. So, and the other one we have here is modulus. I can say 5 modulus 2. This is saying, okay, 2 goes in 5 in 2 times. Yes. Remainder what? Remainder 1. So this modulus will return the remainder of the division. So we have 1. 7 modulus 5 will return what? Please. It will return 2. Because 5 goes in 7 1 time, and the remainder will be 2. So this will return 2. And another thing I want you to know about this number, there is one special value in JavaScript. In JavaScript, it's called NaN, like this. This is also a number. It's a numeric value in JavaScript, and it means not a number. I wanted to grade someone on our task today, and I saw something like this, not a number. I said, oh, wow, not a number. You have to be careful with this. This not a number is not an error. It's just that what the value you're working with is not a number. So to have a number value, if I divide 0 divided by 0, it will give us not a number. If I want to add a value to that not a number, it will still give us not a number. And please know this, it's capital letter N, small, the lowercase of a, and this, not this. Because if I do something like this, it won't work. It's not defined. This is not defined. That means it's the capital letter N, small a, and this. Not a number. It's a so this NN is also a special value in JavaScript. Another data type we are going to do is the Boolean. This one is very simple because it's either true or false, 1 or 0, yes or no. Nothing, just true is true, false is not this one. They are different. This is different from this. This is a Boolean value, why this one is a string value. This is a Boolean value, why this one is a string value. So they are not the same thing. So I can say true. So I can do something like let is married. I want to check if I'm married. So let is married equals false. I don't know if I'm married. I don't know. Don't ask me that. So it's married false because I'm not married. Or is game over? If you are playing game, so I'm checking if the game is over. So I can just say, okay, the game is over. I can have this value. So it's game over, true. So this one is very simple to work with. It's just two values, true and false, yes or no, 0 and 1. And if I come in and let me clear my console, let me clear this. So true will give us true, as I said before. And so let's proceed. The next one is this. A JavaScript string store a series of characters. That means if I have something like this, let name equal something now. Maybe my name. That means these tests are what we call a string in JavaScript, are used to represent and work with a sequence of characters. For example, string example, const name Peter, const name 1 Jack. So these tests are what we call a string in JavaScript. So here now, let me put them side by side, and I will try to remove everything here, and I will create a variable. I will give it goats Ronaldo Ronaldo. Now, if you look at this is a string in JavaScript. You can have something else. This one is also a string, not a number, because also have something like this, num equal 9. This a number. Why this one is a string? Because we have it you have that inside the quote, and you can use single quote and double quote. So I can decide to use double quote. You are still doing the same thing. Ronaldo. I can use single quote and I can also use double quote. But I love using single. I don't know. It depends on what you want. So this variable, this string are also indexed. What I mean is this. I can have access to each characters in the string. So this first one, if I want to get access to this R, I will just say, okay, let me log it out. I will have the name of that variable, goat. This bracket, the square bracket, and the first character in that string is 0. That means in JavaScript, we start counting from 0. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So the first character will be 0. So if I save, can you see now I'm getting the R? But mind you, if I, after this, and I log the goat, I'm still getting R and Ronaldo. That means this one is not affecting my goats variables. So this one is not affecting this one because a primitive type, they are immutable. You cannot change them. So I cannot modify this data. I cannot modify it. I cannot change it. I cannot change one. I cannot remove this character from it because they are not, JavaScript will not permit you to do that. So if I want to get the last letter now, that means I will need to count from the beginning. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I will have 6. If I save, so the last letter, which is 0. But if I put 7 here now, and I save mine, so I'm getting undefined because there's nothing after this 0. And other thing, you can get the length of this text by using this property dot length property. So if I save, I'm getting 7. Why that? I'm getting 7. And I said we start counting from 0. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And this 6. But here we are getting 7. Why? Don't check yourself. When you are counting, you count from 0, right? But when you want to get the length of the text, it will count from 1 for you. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So the length of the text is 7, but the first character in the text is 0. So the R is at index 0. So if I want to get this n now, that means I will have to put 1, 2, 1, 0, 1, 2. So I will have to put 2, and I will save. I'm getting n because this n is at index of 2. So string methods. Let's move to string method. How to work with string. So let's say, okay, string comes with a set of built-in method, which are actions that can be performed on or with that particular string. That means I can perform so many things on this text. For example, I can change everything to capital letter. I can capitalize everything by saying, okay, goat to. So when you want to call the method, these are built-in methods given to us by the JavaScript. So I can say to, if I want to capitalize them, I will say, okay, to uppercase, and you call the function like this, you call the method, because this to uppercase is a method. Don't worry if you don't understand what method is. I will try to explain everything when we get there. So if I save now, you are not getting anything. So let me log the goat out here. If I log it out, I'm still getting Ronaldo. And I said that you cannot modify a primitive data type. So that means we cannot modify this. This one is not affecting this one. That means we can now do something like this. Let's create a variable and we store that into that variable. So let me say goat cap equal this. So I will console log this. If I save now, so you are getting Ronaldo. That means we change everything to capital letter. What if we want to change the first letter to capital letter and we still have the Ronaldo? We can do that. We just have to do a little bit of work. I can just say, okay, the first letter, I will give it a first letter to be goat dot goat the square bracket 0. That means I'm getting the first letter, then dot to capital to uppercase, and I call the and I invoke the method. Now, I will create another variable and I will give it a result. So the first letter plus goat. Okay. Oh, okay. Let's do. Okay. Before we do that, let's quickly talk about this method, the slice method. This slice method, that means we want to get substring from this Ronaldo. We want to get this. So I can use this slice method on this goat variable to get the Ronaldo, to get this from this Ronaldo. So to do that, I will quickly declare a variable, give it something. Let me just put Z equal. Don't mind me that I use Z. I can't think of any name now. So I will say goat dot slice. If I overall on this slice, now, can you see now we have the VS Code is trying to help us out. We are starting from the index, the where we are starting from. That means we are starting from index of 1, because we need this. We want to start from 1. So we have 1 here till the last one, which is 6. So if I have something like this and I log the Z out, I'm not getting it. What is happening here? What is happening? Okay, it's a method. I made a mistake, please. So if I save now, can you see now? You are getting, even I'm not getting the 0. So that means the last one is 7. So if I save now, I'm getting this. So I can now say that, so before I proceed, if you want to remove, or you want to, you don't want the JavaScript to read some code, or you want to put comments on your code like this, you can comment out something, or you want to put something on your code or your future self that, okay, I want to do something later in my code. So you can write a note here for your future self. So I can say, I will come back to this, something like this. So JavaScript will see this, okay, JavaScript will not execute anything after this double slash. So this one will not run. So if I want to uncomment this now, we press Ctrl plus slash. So it's that means I've uncomment that one. So now the result now, if I have this result and I put Z, this Z, because this Z starts from here to here. So if I put it, this plus here, we concatenate this first letter, the first R. Already we have capitalized this first R, and we are adding the first R with this Z, which is O to the last O. So if I save and I log the result out and I save, so I'm getting Ronaldo. Very simple, very straightforward. JavaScript is sweet. I love it. So now, so when you go to a website and you enter your name and you find the results with your name and you discover that your name is capitalized and you didn't do that, this is how to do it. It's very simple. So I capitalize this Ronaldo. So we have R, and here we have small and the lowercase of R, and here the capital letter. So life is good. So another thing you can do with JavaScript string method, we also have something called replace. We have something, a method called replace. So I can, let's create a variable. Let's name, I don't know what, okay, let's message equal color is a gay. I don't know if color is a gay. So I want to replace that color to my name now. I want to change this color to Tolu. So I can simply do something like this. I can even save it into another variable. So let me give it the name of resource. So I can say message dot replace, and it's a method. So you need to have that parentheses. So now the first thing you will need is, if you check this out, the first argument is the value that you want to change, the characters that you want to change in the string. So I want to change this color, and the second argument you need to pass is the value that you want to replace it with. So I want to replace it with Tolu. So if I save and I log the result out and I save, I will get Tolu is a get. But here we have what? Color is a get. Then we replace the color with Tolu by using this method replace. Very simple. Life is good. So I would like to stop on this. Yes, there are JavaScript sync methods. There are many, and you can get them by coming to this site, MDN string method. String method. So if I click on this, so these are the methods here. What the methods you can perform on them. And there is another method I want to show you. So let me create a variable. Let city equal. So maybe I have a space like this and I put Lagos and something like this and I save. Can you see I'm having space? If I log this city out, city, if I log it out, let's check what will happen. Can you see now we are having a lot of space, which is not good. So we have a method. There's one method we can use, and the method is dot trim. That means we want to trim this. So if I save, that means no spaces here now. That means we have removed these spaces by using this trim. Life is good. So the next one to talk about, though they're not much, a non-value. Non-value means nothingness. There is nothing, no value. Intentional absence of any value. So I can decide to have something like this. I can, okay, let's name equal, okay, let's logged in equal no, like this. I can have something like this. I'm telling JavaScript, I'm saying, okay, I'm creating this variable, but for now I don't have any value. So I'm putting this as a value. But this none is just nothingness. Nothing, I don't have anything to store in this logged in. Maybe later in my program, I can have something to put there. So, and another one is this, undefined. When you create a variable like this, I can assign variable x. I can put undefined, but I will advise you against this. Don't do something like this, because immediately you create a variable, in when you give your code to the browser or to the JavaScript engine, which is Chrome V8 engine. During the creation phase, JavaScript will assign undefined to all the variables you have here. Oh, I mean, during the creation phase, so I can, if I log the x out and I check it out, I'm getting undefined, because during the creation phase, the JavaScript will assign undefined to all our variables. If I decide to do something here, console.log logged in. I hope you are getting this. Okay, if I use var, that's why we go against var. If I use var and I use var to create a variable logged in, but here now I'm logging the logged in before I even declare the variable here. But in creation phase, JavaScript will assign undefined to all our variables and functions name. So I will advise against this undefined. If you need a value for something that you are not sure of, use this. Use none, not undefined. Thank you. Now, to control flow. Control flow in JavaScript is how your computer runs code from top to bottom. That means it starts from the first line and ends at the last line, unless it hits any statement that changes the control flow of the program, such as loop, such as if conditional, if statement, if else statement, if and else if statement functions. This can change the flow of your program. When JavaScript hits something like this if statement now. When JavaScript hits this statement in your program, it's okay. This if statement, okay, what should I do? It will check the condition. Okay, the condition is true. Okay, let me run this code. If not, I'll go out from that if block and I will continue with my code. That's if statement for you. If you check this out, if statement, that means when the condition is true, this is what I want you to do. If the condition is false, then move out from the if statement, the if block, and continue with your code. So let number equal to. If number is greater than 0, I want you to run this code. Else, if the number is less than 0, do this. Then this condition that we specified here will be false. Then JavaScript will not run all the code inside the if block and it will move out. It will jump to the next line of code after the if statement. So if to do that, I will create another file inside this folder. I will call it conditional.js, and I will have it here, script / conditional. So I will remove that one. So we are working with this one now. So now I want to create a condition, a if statement. You have if, then the parentheses and the curly braces. So this one, we will specify the condition that we want the JavaScript to check. Okay, if you read your book, you will pass. Then, so if I put true, so anything that we put here will be evaluated to be either true or false. So JavaScript will evaluate this, will evaluate anything inside here. So if I put true now, that means this if statement, if block will work. So I can just say, okay, I can say something like this, Zuri. And if I come to my browser, can you see now? If I put false inside there now, then it won't work. Can you see now? It won't work because this is false. So let's create something meaningful. So let's have let is log log in. So maybe the user is logged in now. I have to. So I can just have something like this. So I will have something like this. So I'm checking here now. If the logged in is true, if they are equal, then run the code inside the if block. But if I change this to false, false, I can't spell. If I change this to false now, that means this code will not run. When the JavaScript encounters the if statement, this code will not run because the condition that we specified inside this is not returning true for us. And mind you, you don't need to have something like that because this expression will be evaluated to either false, true, or false. So if I change that back to true now, and I save, I will get this. Another one is this if else statement. So it's just like this. If you read your book, you will pass. Else, you will fail. Very simple. So when the JavaScript encounter this now, it will share the condition. If the condition is true, it will run the code inside the if block. If the condition is false, it will jump out from, it will move to the S block code and everything will end. So if the condition is true now, if let number equal to, if this condition is true, number is greater than 0, which is true because this number is greater than 0, this block of code this if block will run, but JavaScript will not touch this one, this S block. But if the condition that we specified here is false, then JavaScript will leave this if block and move to this S block and run all the code inside it. After that, the JavaScript will move on with our code. So let's do something here now. So I will give it goats. Please don't mind me by using all this good. I love that guy, Ronaldo. So if goats is equal Ronaldo, if goat is equal Ronaldo, console the log, Ronaldo is the real D. So if I say S, so here now I'm saying if the goat, already we have the goat, we have the value inside the goat is Ronaldo. Yes. So here we are saying if the goat is equal this Ronaldo, that means Ronaldo is the real. Ronaldo is the best player in the world, best ever. S, you are just deceiving yourself. You are just deceiving yourself. So if we go back to our now, Ronaldo is the real. So if I change this to something else, let me change it to this guy. Now, sorry, my spelling. You are just deceiving yourself. That means this guy is not the real goat. The real goat is Ronaldo. So I'm checking against the goat if the goat is Ronaldo. So the condition here will be evaluated to either true or false. And if the condition we specify here is true, then the code inside the if block, this if block will run. Else, then it will jump to this. So after it's done with this, our code will continue. So JavaScript will continue doing its own stuff. So the last one we are going to cover is this. If else if statement. That means we can have multiple conditions. The first condition, if the condition is false, then move to the next condition. If the next condition is false, then move to the next condition. If the next condition is false, then move to the next one till you are done checking for the condition, then you move to the else condition. So that means if all the conditions are not met, if all the conditions return false, then JavaScript will move to the else block. So we can have it here. So first condition is true. If the first condition is true, then JavaScript will run the if statement, and after that, it moves out of the if else statement and continue with his stuff. But if the first condition inside this if is not met, if the condition we specified is not true, then the JavaScript will check the next condition, and the next condition will be okay, the number equals 0, and here the number equals 0. Then the code inside this will run. That means JavaScript will not run this code. JavaScript will not execute this code, but the code here will be run. And mind you, we can have multiple else if here. So we can have else if. So let's go back to our VS Code. So I can have multiple else if here. So else if, then if okay, I don't want some people to crucify me here, so let's move from that goat stuff. So let's create a variable, and I will give that variable username equal Tolu, and my password. Okay, let's leave that one. So if username is equal, if the username is empty, then log, then enter off feed are required. As if, so I'm checking again now. If the username is Tolu, so I will log something out. Okay, login. I will have, I don't know you. So maybe you want to log into your Facebook now. If your username is not correct, then JavaScript the Facebook will tell you that please, Oga, we don't know you. But if the username is correct now, then I will be logged in. If I enter empty value, then JavaScript will tell me that, okay, I need to do what? To enter off it. Okay, I'm still getting, I'm still getting, okay, if I remove that space, all fields are required. That means the username is empty. That means if you don't enter something into username field, so JavaScript will the browser will scream at you that, okay, Oga, we don't know you. Enter your all field are required. Enter your username. And mind you, we can't. If I remove this, it won't work. That means we need to have the if statement. We need to have the if. We need to have this before we can have else if. If you don't have if block, it won't work. That means you are getting, we will get what? We will get error. If I save conditional unexpected token s, and if I put that back, if I remove all this, we can't have this alone. That means we still need the what? This if. But I can remove all this. It will work. It will work. So next thing on, okay, comparison operator now. Here we compare two values. We want to compare two values. You are using all this. So we have less than, greater than, less than or equal to greater than or equal to not equal to equal value and same and this. So here now 5 is less than 2. No, it's false. Because 5 is greater than 2. You all know that. So let's move here. You as a woman, if you see something like this, what do you think will happen? We are getting false. What really happened here? You as a woman. So now I will say that the first thing JavaScript will do first is this. JavaScript will first evaluate the first one. So 2 and 2 is 2 greater than 2. No, that is false. That is false. So JavaScript will do something like this first. And it will check again. So this is the first, this next thing the JavaScript will do, because 2 greater than 2 is false, and this is false. False greater than 3. What is going on here? False greater than 3, and it's returning false. What is going on here? This is what JavaScript will do. JavaScript will convert this to 0, because true will be 1, while false will be 0. So JavaScript will do something like this: is 0 less than, is 0 greater than 3. So now let me remove all that. So we have greater than, we have greater than, greater than, what am I doing now? Greater than 9, which is 4. 9 greater than 5, which is true. 9, 8 equal 8, which is true. 8 equal is string of 8, which is also true. What is going on? Okay, let's do something now. here we have 2 equal to, and here we have 3 triple equal to. If we look at this now, the JavaScript, if we are using this, JavaScript will check the type and the value. If the type are not equal, then JavaScript we say, okay, these are not equal. So if I just put 8 equal, triple equal to, and I put 8 now, I'm getting false. Because JavaScript will check the value, and JavaScript will also check the data type of that value. So the data type of this one is number, and the data type of this one is a string. Though the value inside that string is 8, but JavaScript is okay, no, they are not equal because you are using triple equal to. So now let's go back here now. So we can, so I will advise you to be using the triple equal to, because it will help you in the long run. So start using triple equal to, because JavaScript will check for the value and for the data type. Before I continue, there is one operator, JavaScript operator I forgot to talk about, which is type of. I don't know why I forget that. That means you use this type of to check the data, the data type of the value. So I can, if I have something like this, so the data type of this string, this value is a string. So the type of, so we are using this to check the data type of that value. So type of this, wow, this one is giving us object. I will say maybe it's just a bug in JavaScript. You can go online to read more about this. Why type of none is object? You can go online to read about this, because I believe some JavaScript, those who are in charge of ECMAScript, they refuse to correct this bug, because if they change this bug to none, many websites, many web applications will collapse. So they decided not to change this to none. So they leave it as a subject. Mind you, JavaScript was created in 10 days. JavaScript was created in 10 days. So there will be bugs, things like that. But see, JavaScript is the best programming language that we have today. All those Java developer, Python developer, please don't crucify me for this, for saying that, please. Now, type of undefined will be what? Undefined. So we use this type of operator to check the data type of the value that we have. So the next one is this, the logical or Boolean operators. When you have ampersand, double ampersand. So this double ampersand we check if the first expression and the second expression are true. If the first expression is false, then it will go out. It won't work. So we can use that with our program here. So my username is Tolu, right? So I can say my password. Equal Tolu. Okay. My password is secret. So I can now say, okay, if the username is Tolu and password and password is equal secret. So if I save now, login. But if I put something there now, that means the password that I saved is secret. And I'm checking if the password is equal to this secret too. So if I save, I will not get it. That means I will get this one. I don't know you. Because this is checking for the first expression and the second expression. If both are true, if any one of them is false, then this one will not run. That means the two of this must be true. Another one is this one, which is a logical or. A logical or return true if either expression 1 or expression 2 is true, or both are true. If both are true, then it will return true. If both are true, it will return true. If one out of the expression is true, then it will return true. But if both expressions are false, then it will return false. So if I now change this to color and I remove this to be this pipe, I don't know, then I'm checking here now if either one is true. So if one of this is true, then log me in. So if I save now, I'm still getting I don't know you. That means both of the expression are false. Just we have username as Tolu and password as secret. But here we have username as color and secret too for the password. So if I change this now to Tolu and I save, so I'm getting login. And if I have secret here, I'm still getting what? Login. Both of them can be true, or one of the expression can be true. But if both of the expression is false, then the whole expression will be false, and JavaScript will return false. So this block of code will not run. And the last one, exclamation mark. This exclamation mark will negate. That means it will change false to true or true to false. We can demonstrate that here. So if I have true here now, it will give me true. If I have false, it will give me false. But if I have exclamation true, and that means it will give me false. If I have this exclamation false, I can't spell it. It will give me, that means it will change true to false or false to true. Very simple stuff. Another thing we are going to cover today is for loop. For loop. So if you look at this, for example, now I want to do something like this. I want to print out something like this one. So I'm having 2, 3, 4, 5. And if I save, I'm getting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What if I want to print 1 to 100,000? I want to print 1 to 1 million, 1 to 1 billion. I can't do that. Writing console log 1, over 2, 3, 4, 300, 1 million. It's not possible. I can't do that. So that is where for loop comes in. So we have the for loop keyword, then we initialize our variable, then the condition to check. That means we are going to specify a condition inside here. Then we update our variable and the for loop block. So the code to execute when the loop runs. So when this condition is true now, the code inside this for loop will run. So let's check how it works. So we remove this, and I will have for loop. So the first one is initialization. So I will say let I equal 0. That semicolon is very important. It's a must that you have it there. Then the condition to check, to test against. The condition will be, I want to print 1 to 10. So I will check now if I is less than 11. The semicolon, yeah, and I will increment I by 1 by 1 by 1. So I will increment I by 1. So I will open my curly braces. So and I will log I out. So let's check if good. We are starting. It's starting from 0, 0, 1, 2, 3 to 10. What is going on here? Okay, let's go over it. When JavaScript encounter your for loop, it will come here, okay, I will initialize I to be 0. So the variable I will be 0. The condition. If the condition is true, then run this code. So it will share condition. It will share this condition. Hello. It will check the condition. If the condition is true, then run this code. Is I less than 11? Yes, because I is 11. So this code will run. This for loop body will run. Then JavaScript will now add 1 to I. So the I will be updated to be 1. So I is now 1. Then JavaScript will check again. If I is less than 11, yes, I is still less than 11 because I is 1. Then this code, this for loop code will run. After that, it will go back here to add 1 to it. If the I is still, it will add 1, sorry, it will add 1 to I, and I is 1. 1 plus 1, 2. So it will check again. If I is less than 11, yes, I is less than 11 because I is 2. 2 is less than 11. The for loop code will run. When I get to 11 now, it will check. Is I still less than 11? I is 11. I is less than 11. No, 11 is not less than 11. So this code will not run again. So when we get here, the code, when we get to 11, the for loop will stop to execute. So let's do something interesting here. What I want to have a variable outside. And I will give it a number equal 0. So what I want to do is this. I want to add all this number together. 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5 plus 6 plus 7 plus 8 plus 9 plus 10. I want to add them together. I can simply say, okay, num. I can simply say num equal plus equal I. So if I save num, okay, let's log the number now. What are we getting? If you log the number out, what are we getting? Okay, we're getting 55. So 0 plus 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4, you give us 55. So the last one that we are going to look at is Y block. This Y block. So the Y block, this Y keyword, the expression, that means the condition we want to check. If the condition is true, then you run this code. So I will remove this code. I will come down here. So we have the Y. Then for the condition and the curly braces, that means the condition we want to test. The expression that we have here will be evaluated to be either true or false. So let's do something here. So let's create a variable. Here, let's call it I equals 0. And we are checking if I is still less than 10. I want to print 1 to 10. I want to print 1 to 10. So I will change this to 1. So I'm starting my number from 1. Then if the number, then I will log the I out. If I save this, I will run into a problem. That means infinity loop. So the loop will be continuing because I will always be less than 10 because there is nowhere in our code that we are updating this I. So to do that, we need to update the I. And to update the I, we have this plus plus. So here now we are updating the plus. We are updating the I inside the while loop. So when the JavaScript check for the condition and the condition is true, this while loop will run. But if the condition is false, then everything, this loop will stop to be executed. So let's check out now. Let's check it out. We have 1, 2, 3. We are not getting 10. Why? Because when the I is 10, JavaScript will check, okay, is 10 less than 10? 10 is not less than 10. So the last one will not run. So to have the 10, we can change this to 11. If we change that to 11, we will get the 10. But we can still leave it at 10. That means we are going to use the equal to. That means if I is less than or equal to 10. So when I is 10 now, it will check if 10 is less or equal to 10. Yes, it's equal to 10. So we get the 10. So if I save, I get the 10. Very simple. I will stop here. But JavaScript function, I will not do much on this. I'll just read this out. JavaScript function is a block of code designed to perform a particular task. A function is a group of reusable code which can be called anywhere in your program. This eliminates the need of writing the same code again and again. So when you want to create a function, you have the keyword function and the function name, the brackets, then the arguments, the parameters, and the function body. So I will do something here. I will say, okay, function, the function name. When you want to give your function a name, I will advise you to start with a verb, what, like get name, like get name, calculate number, things like that. Start your variable, your function name with a verb, get name. So I want to get a name. So I will just do something like this. So what name I want to get? Okay, I want to get this name, and I will save. If I come here, I'm not getting anything. That means I need to invoke this function. I need to set the JavaScript to run this function because the function is just sitting there doing nothing. So to get the value inside this function, we need to call this function. And to do that, we have the function name, then with parentheses like this, then we save. So we get Tolu. So I will call it a day today. In our next class on Thursday, we will start from the function because we have a lot to cover on this topic, on this concept, JavaScript functions. So on Thursday, we're continuing with that. So any question, I will try to entertain 2 questions today. So any question now? Any question? Any question? Any question? Any question? Okay, no question. I will create a topic on Slack, so you can ask any question you think you have. So thank you for allowing me to talk to you. I really appreciate. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, guys. So
sorry, Victoria.
I'm done.
Oh, okay.
Okay, guys. Can you guys hear me? So
I can hear you. I can.
yeah. I'm talking to students, right? So I hope you all enjoyed the class. Right. JavaScript is new to many of you guys, so it may look strange, right? So you just have to calm down and learn it. Nothing is really hard in this life if you really want to learn it, right? So We're going to be having another live class on Thursday by this same mentor, right? And I'm going to be releasing recorded videos to support everything. So if you just calm down and look at everything, study, everything is going to be really easy for you guys. So remember, nothing is hard. Research is key. Bye, guys.